Good afternoon, Larry. How are you? Thank you for coming to the OCA Chinese channel.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
Wonderful. And we all know that you have been serving in the city council for about 20 years, and actually has been working as the mayor of the city of Irvine for 10 years. And even today, we can still see that a lot of impact you have made for the city. And now you come back and running for the, for the city council again. So then I have my first question is that, so what do you think about growth and development in the city of Irvine? And what kind of role you think that city council is going to play in those growth and development?
Well, of course, I have had the privilege of serving for many years as mayor and on the city council. Now that there's an open council seat, actually two of them, I'm looking forward to this campaign as an opportunity to get back on the council to reassert some of the policies to control growth and development in the city. Ours, of course, is a planned city here in Irvine. We're very proud of our achievements over the years, but it's very, very important in my view that the mayor and city council lay out policies to carefully control growth and development so that we have the infrastructure, the schools, the municipal services to support the community. In recent years, I'm sad to say, the developers have pretty much taken over the city council.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, we've had this dramatic explosion of growth that led to tremendous traffic problems in the city and other problems associated with growth and development that's too fast. I believe in asserting strong policies of growth control as the city moves forward.
Sure. In terms of growth, the constraints, right now we already have a lot of new housing in the city of Irvine, and that's also caused a lot of traffic issue in the city, especially like in the morning or in the evening during the the office hour. So, do you have any thoughts? And if elected, how would you solve the traffic issue?
Well, the traffic issue is the principal problem associated with growth and development that's too fast. Mm-hmm. So in the future, it's very important not to approve projects to go forward unless we can clearly see that the roads and streets are sufficiently adequate to handle the additional growth. Right. Obviously, we need to also develop alternatives to the private automobile, encouraging people to use non-polluting transit, the shuttle bus system, which desperately needs expanding in the city of Irvine. All this has been kind of disrupted, of course, by the pandemic, which has temporarily reduced the amount of traffic. But as soon as the economy recovers, we're going to see serious traffic problems again.
Correct.
I think the council has to make this a top priority going forward. Transit on the one hand, non-polluting vehicles, but also controlling growth and development.
Got it, got it. Thank you. And my second question is related to the pandemic. We are still in a pandemic. We have been in a pandemic for the last few months. So what do you think of the city's response to this pandemic? Are you satisfied?
I'm not satisfied. I think the city's response has been inadequate. My wife and I, my wife's a pediatrician, a professor at UCI,
yeah,
a public health expert, and we have been speaking for years about the need for the city to be better prepared in matters of public health and safety. And here now we have a pandemic. The city has no Department of Public Health. We have no chief health officer for the city. We have no plan to control the virus or otherwise contain it. And as a result, the city of Irvine is just one more city in Orange County that continues to suffer and it looks like we will continue to suffer through the fall and into the winter.
Sure.
If I'm elected to the city council, I'm determined to see to it that we hire a chief health officer, that we set up an office of public health and safety, that we hire public health nurses, that we assist the schools with school nurses in order to reopen at some future date. These are things that we absolutely have to do.
Okay, so it seems that's like a very comprehensive the health plan for the city and the residents. So I'm just wondering that how do you think that the city will going to pay for your COVID-19 plan?
Well, when I was mayor in the early 2000s, we expanded dramatically our rainy day contingency fund.
Got it.
The idea was that in those good years when we had budget surpluses, we would add to a so-called rainy day contingency fund so that if some disaster should befall the city, we would be able to rely upon those millions of dollars. Well, that fund over the years, which grew to about $20 million while I was mayor and shortly after, is now at over $50 million. And if ever there was a rainy day contingency that adversely affected the city and required us to call on those funds, this is it. It's not just raining, it's pouring. This is a terrible, terrible tragedy, not just for our city, but of course for other cities as well. But in our city, we have the resources to hire the necessary number of public health nurses and school nurses would be several $1 million a year. Well, if it were $3 million a year for 2 or 3 years to be drawn down out of the rainy day reserve, that would be, I think, an outstanding resource. And of course, that is taxpayer money. We put that money in over the years. We've saved it up for precisely this kind of eventuality. So that's where I'd get the money. No new taxes. We'd use the rainy day fund.
Got it. Got it. Reserve is always important, right? For the
Yes,
city, as well as for the families, right? It's always important.
We know that in our own family life.
Yeah, right.
And it's true of the city family.
Exactly. That's why you have a savings account, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Sounds great plan. And I also heard that you have been involved with City of Irvine's Sister City program. So can you tell us a little bit about that Sister City program?
Yes, actually, when I was mayor, we started the program.
Yeah.
And we created 2 initial sister city relationships. The idea was Irvine was becoming what I called in those days an international crossroads city. People were coming from all over the world to Irvine, and we wanted them and us to stay connected with those roots, right, as well as enjoy the benefits of friendship, trade, commerce, and the like, cultural exchanges. So we set up a Sister Cities program, first with Tsukuba, Japan. Tsukuba is Science City, not too far outside of Tokyo. Wonderful community. Set up a Sister City relationship with them. Then we set up one with Taoyuan in Taiwan. That came later, but also Hermosillo in Mexico. And the idea was with these initial 3 sister city relationships to recognize that we're part of the Pacific Ocean basin here, in the Pacific Rim countries, and that these cities could have city-to-city relationships that would be mutually beneficial. Since then, 2 Korean sister cities were added. One's a formal sister city, the other is a friendship city, but all of this helps to underscore our international roots, which allows us to participate in the world in a harmonious and constructive way.
Got it. I'm just curious. I think we also have a sister city with China, right?
We tried to set up one with the Chinese mainland,
Yeah.
There were objections to that.
Got it.
As I recall, Stephen Choi, who was on the council at the time, strongly objected.
I
And
see.
so we weren't able to effectuate that. But I believe we should have uh, not just one or two, but we should have many sister city relationships. The more, the better. And we did set up this new category called friendship cities. Not quite as formal, but it's a way of establishing ties and allowing us to live and learn about each other in ways that we otherwise wouldn't.
Exactly. I totally agree with you because right now the city of Irvine is very diversified, and we all see a lot of diversity in the city. So, what do you think about this evolving diversity in this city? How would you help to get a city more diversified?
Well, first of all, when my wife and I first came to Irvine, it was 90% Caucasian,
Mm-hmm.
90%. Now it's about 40% Caucasian. We set out early on to try to diversify the city, to encourage people to come to this new city, to establish businesses, to go to school, of course, at UCI, to purchase homes, and to otherwise bring families and bring cultural diversity to our community. So
Right.
we had a deliberate policy from the beginning. We made tremendous progress while I was mayor in 2000, I would say all the way up to about 2010 or so.
Okay.
Korean, mainland Chinese, uh, uh, Taiwanese, uh, people from the Middle East, from all kinds of backgrounds and cultures. And we continue to promote this. This is very, very important. This is where the future of the city is. So I think we've done a tremendous job. We need to do more to make sure that this is a city where not just diversified, but we're thoroughly integrated from one end of town to the other. People live next door. People who are East Indian on the one hand, Pakistani, people who are Asian, whether it's Chinese or Japanese or Korean. This becomes then a cultural melting pot. We keep our identities, but at the same time are diversified. I describe Irvine, which it is statistically, as the most diversified and integrated city in the
Right.
United States of America.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree with you. And just wondering that, can you tell us a little bit about, I heard you have like the build out and now the plan for the Veterans Memorial Park and the cemetery. So can you tell us a little bit about that, the build now the plan?
Yes. Finally, after many years of fighting with a city council that refused to recognize the will of the people,
Mm-hmm.
and fighting with a developer who wanted to get a hold of that land, the so-called Artisite in the Great Park. Finally, the people of Irvine, first through a referendum and now through an initiative, have determined there will be a Veterans Memorial Park at the Great Park on the Artisite. My Build It Now plan says let's use the state money that has been set aside
Right.
to start the building of the Veterans Memorial Park and Cemetery right now. Mostly this is a 125-acre park. About 10 acres in the next 10 years would be reserved for cemetery purposes. But we need to build out that great big park and open space within the Great Park as a way of enhancing the Great Park neighborhoods and of course keeping our promise that there will be a Veterans Memorial Park and cemetery. So my plan is to, if I'm elected, immediately start the construction, clearing away the dilapidated buildings, clearing the site, preserving some of the historic features like the control tower, the aircraft control tower and hangars, and otherwise start constructing this beautiful Veterans Memorial Park. And then work with the state on the cemetery portion of it, which the state would then be paying for. The great thing about this project is that it will be funded, it will be operated, and it will be maintained in perpetuity by the state of California, not the city. There's no other part of our great park that will be cost-free to us forever. This will be cost-free to us to build, to operate, and to maintain. So I'm very excited about this. And if I get back on that council, I'm going to make it happen right away. Incidentally, it will enhance property values tremendously all around the Veterans Memorial Park and the Great Park. Property values will go up.
Okay, so you think the property value will go up? That's also good for the people living pretty close. I mean, at the Great Park, close to the Veteran Cemetery, right? That's what you're saying, right?
That's right. Well, it's the kind of project with all the open space and forestation and so forth that just enhances all the surrounding property values in the same way that the Great Park itself makes surrounding property so valuable.
Got it. And also, I'm interested in that, that's during your tenure as the city of Irvine's mayor or the city council member. So what have you done, with the Chinese community to help the Chinese community to grow in the city?
Yes, when the South Coast Chinese Cultural Association held its forum, I was able to say very briefly how proud I was. First of all, I'm a lifetime member of the SCCCA, and I'm also proud to say that I was the one who helped negotiate the land purchase with the Irvine company to create that facility. If you can believe it now, I managed to convince the Irvine company that they should sell the land to the purchasers for less than $1 million an acre. Well, of course, that land is probably worth $3, $4, $5 million
at this time for acre, yes.
But there it happened, right at the dawn of this new century. I was able to help make that happen. And of course, it's grown into a wonderful institution. I think it's been very, very important to the success of the city that we not only acknowledge, but encourage the kind of immigration to Irvine for people to come here to not just learn at the university or go to school elsewhere, but to establish family roots, set up businesses, and otherwise underscore the international nature of this community. That's what's making Irvine such a desirable planned community. So I'm very happy to work, not just, of course, with the Chinese community, but with all of the various communities that have made Irvine today what it is. As I say, we're now majority minority, and that's a good thing for the city. We do have to do, I think, a better job of recruiting more teachers and more police officers and others of Asian American heritage. We've made a lot of progress in recent years, but we have a lot more to do. And the nice thing about all the diversity and people living in harmony is that, to tell you the truth, it makes life more fun. It just makes it more fun to have people from all over and to learn about different people and different cultures and to give an opportunity for everybody to succeed.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Larry. I totally agree with you. And I just want to wish you all the best for your campaign for for running for the city council. And also I want to tell our audience, if you want to help support or do the volunteer and do the fundraising for Larry's campaign, you can go to his website, Larry Agran, which is www.larryagran.com. RAN.com. That's his website. You can go there to find all his contact information and to work with him. Once again, Larry, thank you for coming here to the OC Chinese channel. And we want to wish you a very strong campaign and just wish you all the best and keep on working on that.
Well, thank you, Jing. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to working with many, many people in the future. Thanks so much.
Thank you. God bless you.
Bye-bye.